Rain slicked the old highway that cut through Redstone Ridge, a dusty, half-forgotten town with more stoplights than people. At the edge of town stood Rusty's Roadhouse, a diner that served greasy burgers and strong coffee to long-haul drivers, wandering drifters, and anyone foolish enough to be out in a storm. Inside, the neon sign buzzed low, casting red and blue shadows on cracked linoleum floors. The few patrons hunched over their meals, eyes wary of the storm's fury outside. The waitress wiping down tables was Harper Lake, long legs, worn boots, and eyes that carried stories she'd never spoken out loud. But tonight, it was her silence, and something darker beneath it, that caught everyone's attention. Harper had always been good at smiling. It was part of the job, friendly greeting, quick service, pleasant laugh. But tonight the smile seemed brittle, and a bruise curled around her jawline like a shadow she couldn't shake. Most folks noticed, whispered about it, maybe sipped their coffee harder. But one man really noticed. The storm and the stranger. The black Harley revved quietly as it pulled into the diner's gravel lot, a powerful machine with chrome that gleamed even in the downpour. The rider was a man with shoulders broad as barrels and hair dark as a midnight highway. Tattoos peeked from beneath his leather jacket, a roaring wolf, a snake, and on his knuckles, the letters RIGHT. He slid off the bike and entered the diner, mud splattering behind him. Everyone glanced up. Bikers weren't unusual around Redstone Ridge, but something about this one drew a heavier silence. It wasn't just presence, it was intent. He took off his helmet. His eyes were steel gray, calm but assessing. He didn't look like trouble, but he carried an aura like a storm front in the distance. He slid into a booth near the window. The waitress came over. "You caught in the storm?" she asked, lifting a coffee pot. He gave a small nod. "Black, no sugar." Harper poured, hands steady. But as she set the cup down, the biker's eyes flicked, not to her face, but to something she was trying to hide, the swell of purple and gold beneath her sleeve. Her breath caught. He noticed. A bruise too many. The diner's clock ticked loudly as rain thrummed against the window. The biker took his coffee, eyes never leaving Harper's face. "You okay?" he asked quietly. Her jaw tightened. "Just tired," she said, forcing a smile. He didn't push it, not in a teasing or intrusive way, but with something deeper, steadier. "I see something's hurting," he said, voice low. Harper froze. The diner went silent, at least in perception, as though every person there sensed something was about to break. "No," she shook her head, busying her hands. He didn't look away. "I need you to tell me what happened," he said gently. And in that moment, despite all her defenses, Harper felt something crack. A past too heavy. The storm outside seemed to echo the storm in Harper's chest. She took a breath that trembled with old fear. "It's nothing," she whispered. But the biker reached out one hand, not to grab her, not to judge her, but to simply offer steadiness. "I've seen that look before," he said. "Not from falling, from someone hitting you." Harper's eyes widened. "How can you?" "Because I was him once," the biker said, with a quiet that startled everyone in the room. Shock rippled through the diner now. The biker's present straightened. The truckers leaned in. Every eye turned toward them like a slow burn arrow. "You were," Harper whispered. "Yeah," he said. "And I hated who I was." The room held its breath. The truth comes out. Harper didn't run. She didn't back away. There was something in the biker's gaze, not pity, not dominance, understanding. "It's my husband," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I left him last week. He caught me. He didn't like it." Her words hit the air with brutal weight. Gasps and murmurs spread through the diner like wildfire. The biker didn't flinch. "I believe you," he said simply. Harper blinked. In that moment, something in her cracked open, and she told him everything. The way she thought she could survive on her own. The violent moments she thought she deserved. How she told herself she was strong, yet every bruise felt like a jail cell on her skin and soul. The room listened, not with judgment, but with raw, stunned stillness. A town watches. Outside, the storm thundered. Inside, the air tasted like rain and truth. Finally, the biker spoke again. "I used to hurt people too," he said. "Until someone pulled me out of it." The diner was silent, like a theater holding its last breath. "You don't have to go back," the biker continued. "Not to him. And you don't have to be afraid." People looked at Harper differently now. Not with judgment, but with empathy, with an unspoken understanding that pain, once hidden, often spoke louder than any voice. Someone from the back muttered, "That's messed up." But the tone lacked cruelty, more like recognition. Another whispered, "You're brave." And then Harper's own voice, shaky but real. "I don't know what to do." The biker leaned forward. "You stay here," he said. "For now. And we get you help." The leader rises. At that moment, something shifted in the biker's posture, not aggression, not dominance, but leadership. He stood. The room waited. "I'm Marcus," he said, voice strong but warm. "Friends call me Wolf. I'm, or used to be, the leader of the Blackthorn Riders." Gasps. Whistles. A few chips of ice melted in a nearby cup. "You've all heard of them," Marcus said. "But I'm not here to brag. I'm here because Harper needs a choice, real choice, not fear." The diner's regulars felt something like awe. Not because he was a gang leader, but because he wasn't acting like one. He acted like someone who knew violence, but no longer worshipped it. Harper looked at him with teary eyes. "You don't have to do this," she told him. "I do," he said. "Because I know what it feels like to be trapped. And I know what it feels like when someone finally listens."